All right. So, hello and welcome today to our free training about reverse mortgages. We called it Reverse Mortgage Essential Wisdom for Mobile Notaries. My name is Bill Soroka. I'm your host today, along with my very good friend and certified reverse mortgage professional, Nina Penny. And I'll do more of a formal introduction here in a minute, but I just want to set some expectations for today's call first. As I usually do, I request, if it's possible, if you're in a safe place to do so, turn your cameras on so we can see your hopefully smiling faces. That makes such a difference to us as presenters, but also for the rest of the notaries that, from around the country that are on today's call. But of course, if you can't put your camera on, please don't sweat it. As I mentioned, though, there are notaries from across the country on today's call. So I encourage you to use events like this to connect with each other, build your notary network. You're going to need each other in this business. There's a lot of power in having that peer network for support, education, and of course, referrals. So let's test out the chat function right now. If you would please, and you're in a safe place to do so, introduce yourself and tell us what state you're hailing from. Who will be the first? There we go, Jen. Oh, man. It's like all of a sudden they flood, the dam opened up. Okay, there we go. Florida, Cali, Texas, California, Maryland. There we go. There's our East Coasters. Washington, Maryland. Again, Colorado in the middle. Indiana. There we go. All right. And while you're at it, if you have completed a reverse mortgage loan signing appointment, will you type a one in the chat for me and a two if you've never done a mortgage or reverse mortgage loan signing? Oh, wow. Look at that, Nina. Lots of a good mix today.
Yeah.
Yep, pretty diverse group. Now, for me, these reverse mortgage signings, pull this up for you guys here, ended up being some of my favorite appointments. They definitely took longer. I had to print more paper, but I loved working with this signer demographic. And not to mention some of the incredible and passionate professionals that work in the reverse mortgage industry. And I'm thrilled to be able to share these reverse mortgage opportunities with you today in the Reverse Mortgage Essential Wisdom for Notaries. So here's what you're going to learn today. It's going to be a very, there we go, broad training that's going to include first some information about the senior demographic and why it might be worth your attention right now for a lot of reasons, but in particular for reverse mortgages. And then we're going to share some of the problems, even the crises that many seniors are facing right now. And we'll describe exactly how reverse mortgages can solve those problems, which is why so many financial advisors and other professionals use reverse mortgages as a solution for their clients. And because this can be an intimidating topic, of course, my friend Nina, she's here, Nina Penny, she's an expert on the subject. And she's going to walk you through and have some fun, even explaining exactly how a reverse mortgage works. We'll even go into a little bit of the history and see how they had once had a negative reputation and now how they've overcome that through consumer protection and regulation. And then, of course, the best part is we're going to explain exactly how notaries like you can really end up being that beacon of light in the process, helping more people and then earning more per appointment through reverse mortgage loan signings. And we'll also show you what to expect in those appointments and why you make such a difference. And then at the very end, I'll remind you that our high performance notary community on Skool is now free. And we'll show you how to get certified if this is something that calls to you. And then we'll open this up for Q&A. So if you have questions about how these loan signing appointments work, where to get the business, those types of things. We're happy to help. Or maybe you're even on today's call and you're wondering if a reverse mortgage might be right for you and your particular situation. We have Nina Penny right here. She's licensed in multiple states, so you can ask her those questions or get her contact information and follow up with her later. So let's get started here. For those who don't know me, my name is Bill Soroka. I started out as a loan signing agent, like so many of you. I screwed up pretty bad along the way, not knowing what I was doing, and I was completely inconsistent with my marketing. So my phone often went quiet, and I almost went out of business several times as a notary. In fact, my mobile notary business was almost my 27th business failure. But then something happened. I started embracing habits and routines. I started doing my daily dues, which was simply reaching out to prospective clients every single day. And things really started to turn around for me. I went from scraping by on barely making $1,000 a month to easily clearing $20,000 to $40,000 a month. And then I packaged that exact system up. I created my course called Sign and Thrive, and through it and other programs like the World of Apostees with Judy, the Certified Trust Delivery program we started with Laura and Jen, and of course, the Certified Reverse Mortgage Signing Professional program and 5 notary business books. I've taught thousands upon thousands of notaries how to build a business that thrives even beyond loan signings. And one of the amazing teachers that have helped make all of that possible is Nina Penny. And she's going to lead you through most of today's training. Now, I met Nina at a reverse mortgage signing where she was the loan officer. And this was my very first reverse mortgage appointment. So I was a wreck. I had no idea what I was doing. But I did know how to dance around a loan signing and where I didn't, even if I didn't necessarily understand every single loan document, I was good with people and I knew how to maintain good customer service. But the real gift of that particular appointment was that I met Nina Penny there. And she cares so much about her clients. And that particular client, he was a hoot. She just wanted to make sure that everything went smoothly and efficiently. And she showed up to that appointment without judgment and helped guide the process and guide me through it. I learned so much from her. And then, of course, after that appointment, we became good friends. We actually had a couple more appointments like that, and we struck up a friendship. And that picture there is us on vacation in Palm Springs. That was a blast for almost a week. I think we were there, or a weekend, a long weekend. And then Nina fell victim to my 2 favorite words. What if? I told Nina that these reverse signings were so intimidating and they're so misunderstood in the notary community as well as the rest of the country. But what if we could create a training program that helped elevate the reverse mortgage closing experience? What if the notary knows exactly what the product is and how to navigate the documents and help these appointments close smoothly and efficiently, both for the signer and for the loan officer? And she said yes. And since that fateful date in 2017, she's helped teach thousands of notaries how to embrace and understand reverse mortgages and the customers that come with them. And that's Nina's passion, which is what I admire most about her. She loves this work. And once you work with her, you'll see why her clients love her and how she strikes up lifelong friendships with many of her signers and clients. So if you would please show some love for Nina in the chat. Everyone just say hi, Nina, hello, something to make her feel warm and welcome as we bring her up and she teaches us reverse mortgages. All right, Nina, there's all kinds of love happening in the chat for
I
you.
see that, Bill. Thank you.
You bet. So,
Thanks,
Nina, I'll let you
everyone.
introduce yourself a little bit more.
Great. Well, hi, my name is Nina Penny. I am a certified reverse mortgage professional. There's only about 146 in the United States. Most of them work for lenders on the back end of the business. Not too many producing loan officers, which I am. I fell in love with reverse mortgages in the early 2000s. I've been doing them since. I started doing reverse a little bit at a time, and then I started picking up more and more and started marketing more towards reverse. And now my business is about 95% reverse mortgages. I love it. I love the clientele. I I basically love seeing how it changes people's lives. I think that's been the biggest thrill for me with it. I love being able to work with notaries to go out and pursue the industry and pursue this demographic because it's great. We do, Bill. When you go and you do a first time home buyer or somebody buying a home, it's life changing. But when you do a reverse mortgage, it's totally different. I mean, this is changing the whole scope of people's life as they know it into having more income.
Yeah.
And that is a blessing because that could be my parents, that could be some of your parents. And so I just love the product and I do them and I love working with all the notaries.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, Nina, for that intro. I'll control the slides for you here.
All right. Yeah. So I'm sure we all know that how many, there's growing demographic of how many people are turning into um, retirement age and planning on retirement. And if any of you really have a hard time, I'm sure you'll understand that we work our whole lives earning money. And we think that's the hard part. The hard part actually is when you accumulate that money and you stop making that money, how you make that bucket last for the rest of your life. And, we don't know how long we're going to live. And we definitely have to plan to make that bucket of money or the buckets of money last for an indefinite amount of time. So we're really not sure. And that is one of the hardest things that we find. People also know that seniors, need more money because, of course, we have inflation. And a lot of seniors, they have always paid their mortgage on time, have always made good investments in their home. And so the value of the home is increasing and the amount of money that they owe on it is decreasing. So they have a lot of built up funds tied up in the house. We also notice that people are planning, long-term care when you get over 45 is virtually so difficult. It's unaffordable. So some people look at, maybe getting reverse mortgage to help fund long-term care later. Aging in place. A lot of my clients do not want to go into a home. If they can stay at home, they want to stay at home. A reverse mortgage can help them set up a little nest egg for maybe having in-home care later, or maybe for making the house more friendly to, get around when they're not walking so great. And one of the biggest things is people are always saying that, reverse mortgages are for house rich, cash poor. That's really just not the case. I mean, we have a lot of people who are very well off that you never have enough money when you retire. So they look at a reverse mortgage as an extra bucket, they don't have to worry about it. If they take money from their reverse, they don't have to worry about, paying it back. They don't have to worry about, getting a tax bill at the end of the year. So, these are some of the things that we find that seniors are worried about and how reverse can help them.
Excellent.
Oh, we did kind of talk about that in the previous slide, but how can a reverse mortgage? Well, when we retire once again, right? We have a certain amount of money every month that we have, and that's it. So the only way that we can supplement the income is to either go get a job or eliminate debt. And the reverse mortgage, actually, the first thing we're going to do is pay off the first mortgage. So if you're making $1,000 principal and interest payment every month, a reverse mortgage will eliminate the mortgage payment. So you'd be more positive $1,000 a month, which is a huge thing for people. So we do eliminate mortgages. That's the first step that we do. It's a safety net, of course, right? I mean, if my air conditioner goes out in my house, right, that's a $5,000 thing. I mean, if I'm not having any more money coming in, what am I going to do? Right. So reverse mortgage, it gives them a safety net. Hey, you know what? You don't have to worry about it. You can have a little bucket over here for those things that come up. People also take the money and maybe, if you think aging in place is putting on a side rail in the bathroom, it's really so much more than that. I mean, we have to look at, sometimes doors aren't wide enough. Sometimes there's a step into the shower. All these things cost money. So a lot of people look at doing reverse mortgages to fund the renovation to make the home safer for them so that they don't fall and that they can be more mobile in their home. And these are some of the ways that reverse mortgages can solve some of those problems. How does a reverse mortgage work? Bill, this is where I show my little diagram.
I believe it is. Yes. I'll stop sharing so you can break out the house.
Let's break it out. Everybody. Oh, this is my house. I'm going to move this down a little bit so everyone can see this beautiful house. It's very beautiful. It's a two-story house, which, when we retire, is not very friendly, right? Getting upstairs can be really not a good thing. But it is. It's my beautiful house, and I've lived here for a long time, and I want to stay here for the rest of my life, right? So I look at getting a reverse mortgage. Now, I have a mortgage. I have $100,000 balance on my mortgage. Okay. So let's say my payment's 1,500. So I owe $100,000 on it. I think about maybe getting a reverse mortgage. So reverse mortgages are based upon your age, the value of the home, um, and the value of it. So basically, I'm going to get a reverse mortgage. Let's say my house is appraised at 500,000. Now I'm only going to use round numbers so I can remember them because I'm forgetful, as Bill knows. And I'll go off on a tangent. Bill's like, "Hey, Nina, your numbers are wrong." So just so everybody knows, I'm going to say my house is worth 500,000. Now, let's say I'm older, so I'm going to get 50%. So I'll have $250,000 available to me. Great. So I get $250,000, right? There's $250,000 right here. Okay, the bank is going to be 250. First thing they're going to do is pay off my mortgage, right? So at $100,000, right? So $100,000 goes to pay off my mortgage. Guess what? If my principal and interest payment was at $1,000 a month, I've just increased my monthly income $1,000 because I don't have to make that payment anymore. I didn't have to go get a job. I now have an extra $1,000 to help me. Now, I had 250, right, available. So that means I still have $150,000 left. Well, the house is in good shape. It doesn't need any repairs at this time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep that 150,000 in the line of credit. Okay. Every reverse mortgages have what we call a line of credit. Whatever money we don't use, in this case, I have 150,000, right, grows. So right now, interest rate's about 6.25. The growth rate on the reverse mortgage is going to be 6.25. Okay. So as the amount of money that I owe the bank is growing, right, because it's got interest compounding over here on the $100,000 I borrowed, my $150,000 every month is growing too at 6.125%. So it's going to continue growing. So let's say one day, maybe I need money. Well, maybe I had started off with 150, but in several years, I might have $200,000 here, which I can use at any time. All you got to do is call the lender and say, "Hey, I need some cash," right? So let's say I call them up. I say, "I need 50,000. I don't know what for. All right. But I need 50,000. So they say, "Okay, you got 50,000. I'm going to send you 50,000. So they send me the 50,000. Now, $50,000 from my line of credit is now going over here, right, to the amount of money I owe the bank. So now I owe the bank 150,000. Okay. You can make payments on a reverse mortgage anytime you want. You're not obligated to do it, but you can. All right. So if people decide that they want to make a payment on a reverse mortgage, absolutely they can. What happens is that we're going to lower the amount of money that they owe us, right? If somebody sends in $10,000, they're going to decrease the amount of money that they owe the bank by $10,000. However, that money is also showing on the amount of money they can access again. Okay. So if you pay into it, that's great. Definitely pay into it. But you can always have access to it again. Like me, I pay off a credit card and I think, oh, it's all gone. It's all done. And I go on and I think, oh, I need to get that. And so do I do? I charge it up again, right? Same thing, reverse mortgage. I can pay it down, but you know what? If I make a payment, I can have access to it again. It's a beautiful thing. Sometimes people leave this line of credit sitting around. Maybe one day I might need somebody to come and help me around the house, right? Maybe I need in-home care. But this little nest egg that I have there, I can always tap into. And that's what a lot of people are doing. They're saying, you know what? I can have this money early enough in my retirement years. I have some people who are now 63 getting a reverse mortgage, not touching it because they want that line of credit to grow so that maybe in 15 years they could have more money in that line of credit than the house is worth. Maybe they need in-home care. Maybe they need some money. They can always tap into it. Bill, do you have a second to talk about what happens when I pass?
Yeah, absolutely. What
Okay,
happens if you
great. So let's
pass?
talk about when I pass. Okay. So I'm much older now. I've lived a really good life, but I pass on. Okay. And I leave my house to Bill because I love Bill. Right. So Bill gets my house. Now, Bill has a couple options what he can do. Bill can he can contact the bank and say, oh, you know what? I love Nina's house. I really want to keep it because I want to keep it just the way it is so I can go in there and just make like she's still living and she's still in that house, which is not what Bill's going to do. But anyway, so the bank can say, okay, well, you know what, Bill? She borrowed 150,000 from us. Remember, I need 50,000, and then the original amount, right, that we did when we got the reverse to pay off the present mortgage. She owes us 150,000. And I don't know. Let's say there's an extra $100,000 in interest. I don't know how long I lived, but I'm saying 100,000. So I probably lived a good long life. All right. So they say, okay, she owed 150. Compounded interest is 100,000. Bill says, okay, well, the housing market's not great right now. It's only worth 500,000. That's fine. Bill's gonna Now oh wait, I was talking about Bill refinancing the house. I'm sorry,
Yes.
he wasn't selling it. So what Bill would pay is the 150, right, that I borrowed, plus the accrued interest of 100,000. So he could get this house for 260,000. Okay, which is the amount of money that I borrowed plus the interest, and
That's
it's
just a
his.
refinance.
He could refinance. Now, if Bill was 62 when I passed, he could probably get a reverse mortgage and get a reverse mortgage to buy this house. He could do that. All right. Reverse mortgages really, when it's due, only the amount that the people borrowed plus the interest is due. The rest goes to the heirs or to whoever gets the house. All right. So the bank does not take it. The bank does not sell it. That's just not the way it is. So let's just say Bill says, I don't really want the house. Let's empty it out, put a couple bucks into it, sell it. Same thing. Bill gets a realtor. Bill puts the house on the market, sells it for whatever amount. Bank gets paid off first, the 150,000 plus $100,000 interest, and the rest goes to Bill. The bank is only going to get what is owed to them, the interest and the principal balance that they borrowed. And that's how the reverse mortgage works. How is that, Bill?
Yeah, great explanation. Thanks for walking us through that. Now, why don't we talk about some of the misconceptions that have got us here?
Oh boy. Okay.
I'll start sharing the screen again.
Yeah, let's do that. Well, Back in the day when reverse mortgages first started, they were, it was in the 60s. And what happened was that I'm going to tell a story about how it happened, what with the first reverse mortgages, how it worked. Basically, it was a family, a friend, worked for a bank, and the husband passed away. They had the house free and clear. She had no money. She had not worked. And so what they did was the bankers decided they would, say, hey, we'll give you the cash. We'll kind of pay you for your house now. And then when you can live there until you pass. And when you pass, we'll sell it and we'll make our money. Okay, sounded good in theory, right? Well, didn't turn out that great because she lived a long time and the house was not worth as much and there was a loss. So when reverse mortgages first started that way, if they were upside down, they would send the bill to the heirs, which was not a good thing. It caused a lot of problems. Um, so that was not a great, solution to reverse mortgages. There was also something called shared equity. So that meant that, I owned a house, right? And what I did now was the bank was co-owner with me pretty much. And when I passed, anything that was owed, or I'm sorry, anything that was left over after the house was sold was split between the heirs and the bank. Okay, that's shared equity, which was okay. But once again, if it was upside down, not so friendly. When President Reagan was in office, there were so many lawsuits, and it was just not a productive, good loan. So President Reagan sent it to HUD, and HUD reformed it into an FHA loan. I'm sure all of you have seen FHA loans, maybe had one. An FHA loan now is what we call a HECM. It's an FHA loan you're not obligated to make payments on. You can if you want. It's the simplest way of explaining it. It's an FHA loan. We have mortgage insurance up front and a monthly mortgage insurance, just like a traditional FHA loan. So that loan is called the HECM, Home Equity Conversion Mortgage, HECM. That is an FHA loan you're not obligated to make payments on. You can if you want, which really kind of solved all the problems, right? We also made it a non-recourse loan, which meant that in the case the house was sold or upside down at the time when I pass, it's non-recursive. So the heirs did not get a bill. It was just a loss. HUD took it. Just kind of like if you get an FHA loan now, right? Same thing. Mortgage insurance protects the lender. So they do not charge you, they do not go after the kids if you pass and you're upside down. Also around that time, we also started putting more safeguards in place. And that's really to protect. Oh, yeah, Bill, I'm gonna go into the
Perfect.
safeguards. I'm
Yep,
gonna
perfect.
blend it in a little bit. Is that okay?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. So during that time, one of the safeguards also to protect seniors was to put counseling in place. And I'm going to explain to you why the counseling is important. Let's say, now I'm going to go back to like 2005, 2006. People doing reverse mortgages, you know what? They don't even know what they're doing. They're just trying to make some money. So they're doing reverse mortgages. So basically, counseling was put in place so that people understood, you know what, Joan, okay, we're going to give you this reverse mortgage, but, we got to make sure she's competent, that she knows that she still has to pay taxes and her insurance, that she understands, what the product is and how it works. So the counseling was a very positive step for everybody because it really kind of made sure that the people who were getting reverse mortgages were educated or somewhat educated of how it works. Okay. It's a non-recoursive loan. Of course, that's the FHA part, right? The mortgage insurance protects the borrower. It protects the borrower, their heirs, right? And also the lender. The fees, you know what, we cannot be charging people anything we want. This is a reverse mortgage. It's for seniors. It is capped on what we can get, or what the borrower can get and what a loan officer can make. And then a financial assessment came into place. in 2016. And the reason for the financial assessment was primarily because if you're house rich, cash poor, a reverse mortgage really isn't for you anyway. Because if you can't afford to pay your taxes and insurance, or make monthly payments on your credit cards or your other bills, you probably can't really carry um, taxes, insurance, and keep them current. So financial assessment was put in place. Now, if any of you know traditional loans, you might say, is that like debt to income ratio? No, we work off residual income, which just basically means that when everything's done at the end of the day and the dust is settled on all the household bills, that they have one person $600 left over, which is nowhere near like a debt to income ratio.
Yeah, wow.
So all these things were put in place. Financial assessment came into place also around the same time that another safeguard came into place. Whenever there have been problems with reverse mortgages that made a really big deal, um, changes were made to make the program better. I'm going to give you an example of this. The most recent change in reverse mortgages probably came 2016 around financial assessment. And this is what was going on. Let's say back when in the early 2000s, right? Maybe Bill was 62, I was 60. During the early 2000s, both people, you had to be 62 to be on to get a reverse mortgage. So Bill could get the reverse mortgage. I was only 60, I couldn't. So what loan officers were doing, they would say to Bill, hey, Bill, you know what? Let's just put you on the reverse. When Nina turned 62, you refinance, you put her on. Everything's great, right? In theory, that's a great idea. What was the problem? Well, I turned 62. Bill forgot. I forgot. We're just living life, la di da, la di da. And then all of a sudden, Bill died. Bill dies, and guess what? I'm not on the loan. I have no rights. So, it was getting to the point when people like, I gotta leave my house. Why? So basically, also in 2016, there 15, 16 is when they grandfathered all those people in because it was becoming a big problem. So as you can see, as the reverse mortgages evolves, to issues that come up. So once again, we do have a lot of safeguards. We really look out for seniors, and those are some of the safeguards there, Bill.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nina. I appreciate that. And I love how it has evolved. And there's so many financial planners and wealth advisors that use the reverse mortgages now as a product to help um, seniors as a financial planning tool for their
Yeah, and that's
longevity.
new. That's only the last several years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
now
only
with
really
these
over the last
safeguards in
several
place, it makes
years.
sense. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, guys, you can see now why reverse mortgages are increasing in popularity because they do help solve these very practical problems that seniors have with the consumer safeguards. They trust this financial product more than ever before. And that's why every year you'll see somewhere between 16,000 and 24,000 reverse mortgage closings throughout the country every single year. And some years that's even hit, I think we said as high as 33,000, I think was the peak.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the industry needs you. When you're trained on the full reverse mortgage product, like what you understand what it is, what it's intended to do, how and why it helps seniors, and then what the process and the documents look like, you can literally change a senior's life with just that understanding. And then, of course, you have this entire industry of passionate professionals like Nina that just want to help people. And when you understand this, they will come to trust and rely on you to take care of their customers. I don't know if you knew this or not, but there are lenders out there that focus on reverse mortgages. Sometimes that's all they offer are reverse mortgages. There's even title and escrow companies around the country that specialize in reverse mortgages. And they need, in fact, they're craving notaries that understand the product. Because here's the thing, you, as the notary, are very oftentimes the only human being that the signer's going to see in person throughout the entire reverse mortgage process. Because not all loan officers are like Nina Penny, where they go to their own closing appointments. And sometimes they just can't, right? Their office is in Philadelphia and the signing's in California. So understanding what it takes, having the extra patience and the compassion to build in the extra time that it's going to take to do these signings successfully, and reassure the signers that this amount of paperwork is normal. It's a valid part of the process. That brings tremendous value to the marketplace. So here's what you can expect in a reverse mortgage signing. It's definitely going to be a lot more paper. Yeah, some of these signings have 200 or 300 sheets of paper, and you might have to print out 2 copies of those. So that's a lot of paper. And then for a few reasons, these appointments are going to take a little more time, twice as much time. Um, so that means, yeah, there's going to be a lot more of that paper involved, but that means there's a lot of signatures to gather. And you're working with a demographic that might have some muscle or joint conditions that slow them down a bit on their signature. Plus, many of them have very fancy and articulate signatures that they pride themselves on. So it also might take a little more time to read some of the important documents. So we always recommend that you block out at least 2 hours for an appointment like this. But I think, and maybe Nina, might agree with me too. I think the best part of these relationships and these appointments are the stories that you get to hear and the relationships that you get to build. I've met some of the most interesting people of my entire career at a reverse mortgage signing. They've got
Yeah,
stories. Yeah.
they got stories, they got cookies. I have one lady, I tell Phyllis, I have one lady that um every time I go up to Prescott, she wants me to come over and have a tuna fish sandwich and a ginger ale. That's
I
they're
love
just
that kind of
they're
stuff.
beautiful. It's really just a great demographic, you know.
Yeah.
I
I've
mean,
had cookies, tamales, turkey sandwiches,
yeah,
omelets. I've had it all.
I've had it
Uh,
all too.
so if you came into this business and truly love being with and helping people, learning from people, reverse mortgages can be rewarding in a lot of different ways too. But of course, for all those reasons I mentioned and more, you deserve to earn more per appointment with these.
Hmm.
Now, when you're working with companies that understand the reverse progress or process, and when you work directly with either an escrow company that specializes in reverse mortgages or with a lender that specializes in them, you can command higher fees, especially with this specialized training and certification that we're about to tell you about. You should be earning $200 to $300 per appointment direct if you go direct. Now, if you go through a signing company that is either not used to reverse mortgages, or maybe their clients aren't really reverse mortgage specializers, they may try to lowball you at first. They may suggest, and I've seen these come through on the platforms, $60, $70, maybe even $100 for a reverse mortgage. But frankly, the economics of that doesn't work out. It doesn't pencil out, right? You can't print 600 pages, travel, and spend 2 hours with a client and be profitable making $60 for these. So if you get offers like that, and it's a full reverse mortgage buyer package or refinance package, it would be absolutely acceptable to counter that offer. But this is why I advocate for going for escrow direct. When you work escrow direct for people who specialize in reverse mortgages, you can get paid what you're worth. And now you know that you can market directly to them. And when you do find that lender or escrow officer that specializes in reverse, and they know that you're trained and you're just as passionate to help their customers as they are, they're going to stick with you and they're going to pay you what you're worth. And one of the other cool things about this whole process with reverse mortgages is that very often um, notaries are called to help facilitate the application process too. So the very beginning stages of the loan. And many of the seniors that want to apply for a reverse mortgage, they just don't have the technology training. They didn't grow up with computers. They don't know how to get on the internet. My grandmother never touched a computer in her entire life. So if she wanted a reverse, she would need someone to come out to the house and do that on paper. So some of the lenders will actually hire notaries to go out and gather the signatures and documents for the application process. Now, there's usually no notarizations included, but they just want you to gather the signatures, maybe a few documents, print out the paperwork, all that good stuff. Now, those typically pay out somewhere between $80 and $100. So that's not overly exciting, right? But they're usually pretty simple, a lot faster, and they may not require any notarizations. But what makes them so valuable is that you get your foot in the door and you start building relationships with that lender, that escrow officer, but also with that signer. So if you strike up a relationship and they love working with you, the lender's going to want continuity in that transaction. So if you came for the application, you did a great job, and there's a really good chance then you're going to get hired for the closing as well. So right there automatically increases the lifetime value of that customer for you. So you get $100 or so for the application, and then you get 200 or 300 for the closing. So not a bad.
And
Yeah.
Bill, if you don't mind, if I can throw something in there about
Yeah. Yeah.
it's the people that go out and do the applications. Yeah, it doesn't require any signatures, right? But what I do suggest people do, if you want to go and get the applications, and just contact the borrower beforehand and make sure that they have the paperwork ready. I know some notaries have gone out and they'll be like, "Oh, do you have this?" And seems like, "Oh no, I don't have. Oh, it's in the other room. Let me go." And they shuffle off into the other room and they're in there for 25 minutes, and you're like, "Oh my God." So if you're going to do the apps, call them, make sure they have their paperwork ahead of time. If not, I mean, I wouldn't spend all day there. Get the signatures and just tell the loan officer, hey, she didn't have it. She couldn't find it.
Yeah.
You can't be expected to sit there all day.
Learned that lesson the hard way. And of course, I'm heart driven. So what did I do? I was going through that file cabinet with her, just looking for that paperwork. So
I
yeah, that's
know.
great advice. So basically, guys, it takes a special kind of notary to embrace and enjoy reverse mortgages. It's definitely not for everybody, right? But if it does call to you, we're ready for you. Your next steps is just to join the free community. Guys, this is free on Skool called High Performance Notary. It's the largest notary community on the platform with nearly 1,500 notary entrepreneurs. I'm going to put that link in the chat for you now. So you can, oh, I think I chose the wrong one there. Bear with me 1 second. There it is. Boom. Then if you're really called to this work with seniors and you do want to be a certified reverse mortgage signing professional, you can enroll in our program by just easily upgrading to VIP once you're in the community. And it's super simple. We made it easy and affordable for you. Once you're inside the course or the community or inside the course, you get trained, you get certified, you get access to a list of reverse mortgage lenders and reverse mortgage title and escrow companies that are helping to process those 16,000 to 33,000 reverse mortgage closings every year. These are lenders and title companies that specialize in reverse and
Hey,
they're
Phil, can I just
passionate.
say something?
Yeah, please.
Um, this this came out this morning that there's a huge uptick in reverse mortgage applications in the month of November, and I'm seeing it's upticking again this month. People are really starting to move forward because rates have come down, and
Yeah.
we have a lot of new products. So I will say that the business it's going to be a really 2026 going to be a great year for the product.
Yeah. And plus, I know we weren't prepared to really talk about it today, but you just mentioned those other new reverse products that are coming out that just widens the availability to it as
Mm-hmm.
well. Yeah.
Yep.
So there are two ways to access the Certified Reverse Mortgage Signing Professional Program, guys. Both require that you be a member of the High Performance Notary community on Skool. So just remember to join that for free for lots of great reasons, not just this program, but there's all kinds of resources available to you, even at the free version there. Once you're in the community, you have two options to access the CRMSP course. First, just because you're here watching this webinar, whether it's live or on the replay, we're offering 50% off the standalone course. It's usually $199, but you can have it for just $99 today. That includes the full comprehensive training with documents, including applications, all the closing paperwork too. We go over etiquette, you get the certification exam, weekly continuing education calls with Nina. She's there every Thursday. And of course, a lifetime directory listing as a CRMSP. And it's all just $99 or, yeah, $99, which is the 50% off. So if you're already in High Performance Notary, which many of you might be, I see lots of familiar faces today. You can click that link and it'll take you right to the place where you can purchase that. And then the second option that you have is to just get everything you need to succeed with that VIP level inside High Performance Notary. We include every single course that I've ever created, starting off with, of course, the Certified Reverse course. We've got the Sign and Thrive loan signing program, the World of Apostille certification course, the Get Known strategy, which is social media content strategy, the search engine optimization, and then we're really excited that the Google Business Profile Mastery course with Jim Allen is also included. Plus, all 5 of my notary business books are included in there too. So it's like everything you need. And then we meet every week to plan your week ahead, set big goals that actually move you forward rather than leave you spinning your wheels. And then every Wednesday, I meet with you on office hours. So I'm available for questions and guidance. So VIP, literally everything you need to get in front of the customers and open doors, show your qualifications and get hired, as well as boosting your online visibility, all with the structure, the support, and the teachers to help you along the way. And that's $49 a month, and you can cancel it at any time and you go back to the free level. So you never have to leave the community. If you decide that you want to cancel, it'll just bump you down to the free and you can still have access to all the free programs. There's no contract, no commitment, no obligation. Stay as long as you find value in the support of the community. And here's what I tell people. I know this course is exciting. I know all the courses and certifications are exciting. Come for the course, but stay for the support and the structure.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're
Hey,
like
Bill.
so many other notaries, I'm sorry, Nina.
No, go ahead, Bill. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
If you're like so many other notaries and you've struggled with staying consistent with your marketing, that's exactly why I built High Performance Notary. And it's a problem that problem can be solved with this. So you can join that with the link or go to notarycoach.com/Nina if you're in a place where you can't write it down or see the link in the chat. And I'll show you real quick how the community works and what you can expect to see here since I'm still sharing my screen. When you go to that link, it's going to take you here. It says Nina Penny invited you. You click this join group here and it will be for free. You can also log in here if you already have a Skool account, maybe for the CNTDA program or another community you're in. But you just log in. It's going to take you probably to the About page here, and you can toggle anywhere you want to go across the top here. I recommend starting with the community though. It's right here. We made it really easy to upgrade. The reverse mortgage post is right here for you, or you can go right into the classroom. And when you scroll down here, you'll see Nina's smiling face and it says unlock for $99 or upgrade to VIP. You just click into that and it will let you do whatever you'd like to do. Then you can check out all the other cool things that we have in here. Most of them are accessible with the VIP upgrade, but you can see we've got almost 1,500 members in there and they are highly engaged. This is not another boring Facebook group. There is all kinds of stuff happening and going on in here. And you are welcome to join this part completely for free. And then you get to decide what you want to upgrade to if you want to upgrade later. So Nina, are you ready for some Q&A? We got some good questions in the
I
chat.
I do. I just want to say one thing,
Yeah,
if you don't mind.
of course.
So many years ago, I worked for Tom Hopkins. I don't know if any of you know who he is, but he was a sales trainer. He's pretty big. I mean, when it comes down to sales and how to do it, he was huge. And I did a lot of sales training. And when I started looking at Bill's course for the notaries on growing the business, I can tell you that you can take his training and apply it to any other business and be successful. So just because honestly, I was like, Bill, I know this stuff. Wow, Bill, it's the same thing. Like, you know, even if you have another business, you can still take the stuff in there and really apply it, not just to notary, but any business, any sales is, we all function on the same thing. So, when I was going through it, I was like, wow, it's really familiar. So it's
Yeah,
great.
it is.
I can use it for my business as well. I have to get real estate agents. I have to get other people. But you know what? When it comes down to sales, it's sales.
Exactly.
And
It's just going back to
it
basics.
it's just tweaking it to make it fit your
Mhm.
style and your product. So that's what I want to say, Bill.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. And
Yeah,
it's so true. And the,
it
the
is
main
true.
reason I built High Performance Notary was the
Hmm.
foundational skills. And then we give you the daily dues in there too, guys, that are geared towards, just like Nina said, you have to tweak it to whatever you're focused on. So we have trust delivery, we have apostilles, we have medical facilities, we have loan signings. We have that all mapped out and separate for you. So let's get to some of these questions, Nina. So Susan says, at the application stage, what is the average closing rate where the signer actually goes through and completes the signing? Like, I think that's from application to the closing side. I
Like
don't
the
know. Do you have a
percentage
stat
of
like
it?
that?
No, I don't know. I don't know what the percentage is.
Yeah.
Um, you know what? I really don't know. I
There's too
don't
many
know.
factors that come in, right?
Too
Because it's
many
house
factors that come in.
appraisals, home values,
Hmm.
the financial assessment, all of those
Yep.
things tie into it. Yeah. So it's
Hmm.
it's
Yeah.
tough. It's hard to say.
It is. It is a tough one. I really can't say. Um, I do know that a lot of them will pay you up front for the application, so it's not like you don't have to. I know if I'm going to have a notary go out to my client, I've done all my numbers. You know what? It's got to be a slam dunk
Yeah.
from yeah. So, but so, I don't know. I don't know if there's an actual number. I'm sorry. I can ask around and see if I can find out. I don't know if I'll get an accurate number though.
Right. Yeah. It's a tough one.
It is.
How much should the notary charge for an application? Cheryl, we talked about that a little bit. Again, this will depend on if you're going direct or through a signing company, but direct should be between 80 and $100. That might vary depending on your client relationships, of course, too, but that's how much you should be getting paid, if not even a little bit more. I've seen
Yeah.
some charge 125 for that.
I think 125 is fair. But I think if you're going to do the applications, a word to the wise, make sure they're ready And there's no, let me go get this. Oh, hang on, it's in me. Oh, let me shuffle off, get my slippers on and shuffle off down the hall. You know what? You can't, they got to be ready. They're ready to sign and go.
Good advice. And a good loan officer like you preps them for that too, right? Like you have to have your documents ready.
Yeah. I would, if it was me, the loan officer, I would tell the notary, go. Just go. Don't wait around all day.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm sure other loan officers would be like, yeah, I want you to wait there until sunrise or sunset, whatever.
Cheryl has a question here. Why are there two notes and two deeds in of trust in the reverse mortgage package?
Mm,
Hmm.
okay. Um, can she unmute herself? I have a question for her.
Yeah. Cheryl, you want to unmute? Are you still here? She may not still be here.
Okay.
Go ahead, Nina,
Okay.
just
So
for
here
everybody's
is the
sake.
answer to that question. Um, I was going to ask her, has she ever done a fixed rate reverse mortgage? And she might say, no. There's only two notes and two deeds of trust in the adjustable rate loan. Why? Because it's an open-ended loan. So basically, we don't know what the end amount's going to be. There's no way to calculate what it will be. So there's two notes and two deeds of trust. We have them in there. We also send a copy of it to HUD, and a copy gets recorded.
Ah, great. So she's noticed that. Okay, good. Let's see. Brandy asked, what's the typical interest rate on a reverse?
Oh boy, that's a big question. Here we go. So we have the traditional HECM as of today is running between, I would say, 6% and 6.375. Um, we have the reverse mortgage second, which is 9 point, oh, I think it's 9.9% on the second. And then we have proprietary products, which is like a jumbo product, or they go up to like $4 million, but they also pay more than the traditional reverse or the HECM. Those interest rates are running 8.99%. They pay more. They have mortgage insurance built into the rate. Those are kind of the rates.
Okay, and those can adjust and change. Are they
A lot
tied
of
to the prime rate?
the proprietary products are mostly fixed rates. So those are 8.99s. I think the adjustable rates pretty close in that as well.
Great. All right, wonderful. Any other questions that you might have about a reverse mortgage? Also, Nina, can we give, for those who might be thinking, hey, maybe a reverse mortgage is right for me, or they know somebody, or their parents, or they know somebody else who might be interested in the reverse, what states are you available to assist in?
I have Arizona, California, Nevada, Colorado. I don't know, Bill. I think I could find a way to get anything done.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of leaning towards. No matter what state you're
if
in,
but
Nina
if
probably
not,
knows somebody.
but if not, I do know a lot of people that I work with that have my credentials that would take very good care of people. But I have a question for Bill for a participant.
Yeah.
I want to know, Ken, is that a real dog?
Yeah, yep.
That dog has not moved this whole time, Bill.
Just snuggled
I
up.
can't get my dogs to do that. Sweet.
Um, Wonderful. Okay, we got a couple more questions here. So
Okay, let's
Alicia
go.
says, I
Sorry,
have the
everybody.
certification. How do I find these offices to market to? Alicia, inside the community and inside the course, we have updated that with a list of the reverse mortgage lenders and the title and escrow companies. Plus, guys, in the age of AI, you have every client you have ever dreamed at your fingertips. If you prompt ChatGPT correctly, you can find in your local area or across the world every reverse mortgage lender or specialized escrow company that you want. It's that easy. But I went ahead and I did it. I made a prompt for you and I created the list for you inside the course material. So you have that inside.
I will
Also,
also say, Bill, I also
yeah,
want to say that I would say probably we do 3 calls a month, right? I would say at least almost on every call, I talk about marketing or, ways to go and find the business. I
yeah,
do. Yeah.
fantastic.
Not 100% of the time, but I would say at least 2 out of 3 weeks.
Great. And Wilhelmina asks, can you do a reverse mortgage signing in an attorney state without an attorney present? So, Wilhelmina, I'm just going to say this. A reverse mortgage is a mortgage. So, whatever your mortgage laws are in your state, it's going to be the exact same. Now, some states can be a little looser with that, with the refinance side. Sometimes they don't care about the refinances as much if the lender's out of state. Sometimes the attorneys have a good stronghold on that, and they only focus on purchase. So it's just going to depend. But there's nothing about this transaction that would be different than forward mortgages when it comes to those types of laws. Now, Nina, we do have one question that says, what kind of credit rating is typically required for a reverse mortgage? And a follow up to that is a reverse mortgage as credit reliant as forward mortgages?
Well, that's a tough question. Who asked that one, Bill?
MS, I don't know. There's no name. It's just an email address.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a very loaded question. I'm going to answer it the best I can. Okay. Reverse mortgages are not traditional loans. They are underwritten by a human being, not a desktop underwriter. So I'll say this. Reverse mortgages, Val is the one that asked that question. Okay, here I go, Val. Reverse mortgages are manually underwritten. So are they credit based? No. I'm going to give you an example. Let's say Bill's getting a reverse mortgage, right? Um, 3 years ago, no, I can't do that. I'm getting a reverse mortgage. 3 years ago, I had cancer and I was very sick. And all my bills, everything went, I just couldn't do it. And my
This is
credit
just an
tanked.
example, right? This isn't Nina's story. This is an
No,
example
this is just an
story.
example. Yeah, I
Yes.
didn't want to do that
I
to
don't.
Bill, so I'm doing it to myself.
Okay.
So, you know what? Today I'm feeling better and I'm good, but my credit is better, but underwriters are now human beings. So if I was to get a reverse mortgage, I'd say to my loan officer, yeah, I had this cancer. I was ill. Here's documentation showing I was sick during that time. That's called an extenuating circumstance. They will overlook it and you will get your reverse mortgage. Anyone can get a reverse mortgage, no matter how bad your credit is. However, if you have very bad credit, they will do what they call a life expectancy set aside, which means they're going to take out so much money from your proceeds into a kitty to pay your taxes and insurance. Um, so people that maybe have a ton of equity in their home, bad credit, can still get a reverse mortgage.
It's the
I've seen
least.
some with a 400 credit score
Yeah.
that were going to, go into bankruptcy or lose their home and got the reverse mortgage because they had so much equity, taxes and insurance set aside, and they were able to get it.
Yeah. I've seen that. I think one of my signers they had a 401 credit score,
Mm-hmm.
and I was blown away.
Yep.
They'd live in their house
If
forever.
you know what,
Forever.
it's manual underwrite. So
Hmm.
on any traditional loan, if you don't mind me going into this for a second, any traditional loan, you have it goes to a desktop underwriter, right? So let's say, Bill, you want to get, an FHA loan, a conventional loan. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run your credit through a desktop underwriter, and it's going to give me an approve eligible, approve ineligible, or a refer, right? Refer means forget it. Or so there's very little opportunity to get, very few lenders will do a manual underwrite. every reverse mortgage is underwritten by a person, not a
Good
machine.
to know.
So if I had something going on in my life that caused everything to tank, guess what? If I can prove it, they're going to overlook it.
Thank you,
There we go.
Nina. I love that. I'm going to type your contact information here in the chat. Also, if you're in the community, Nina's in there, and we can have a whole section just for Nina in the Prosperity Hub. So you have her contact information there too.
Everybody and anybody can contact me. If anybody ever has a question or needs something, can always just get to me. All right, Christopher,
And then Yazi says, what is the minimum age to get a reverse mortgage?
55.
55. There you go. Beautiful. Well, Nina, thank you so much. I think we did a good job answering all these questions. I don't think we've missed any more. VIP level has many instruction courses. I don't need it. Okay, Celia, then VIP may not be right for you. That's totally fine. You can get the reverse mortgage class alone for just $99 for a one-time fee, and it's always in that community for you.
I will say though, anybody that is thinking about um, getting into reverse, I think next year is going to be a really good year. We have a lot of new products coming out. I'm excited. I'm starting to see the uptake already, and I'm getting pretty excited. I can't say I've felt like that last year or the year before.
Yeah, it's been a little bit tight out there on those, but yeah, I'm excited for that too. And I love
Yeah.
that they're expanding the products too, because that helps everyone.
Yep.
Nina, thank you so much for sharing your time and your wisdom for us. You know, I love you and I really appreciate this. And for you who showed up to today's call, thank you so much for sharing your Thursday morning and afternoon with us growing yourself and your business. So hope to see you inside High Performance Notary on the Skool platform. Bye bye.
And you know what? Even if you don't take the course, please just go in and check it out and learn something new.
Yeah, awesome. See
Yeah.
you guys later.
Thanks, everybody. Bye bye.